Hi there, everyone. Take two. Okay, so you might see another attempted live on my page. The phone actually rang as I was starting it, so I quickly muted the microphone and then in the fluster forgot to unmute it. So I did my whole beautiful 10-minute or so share with no sound. So this is take two. It might hopefully be better than the first one then. So the reason I was jumping on today was that I heard something recently that I really related to, and I actually shared it on my parenting call last night. So as if you know me, you know I'm into parenting and relationships, and I have a huge passion for the nurtured heart approach. So one of my fellow nurtured heart approach colleagues over in the States, Mussi Diskin, she has an amazing podcast called Voices of Parenting, which I suggest you check out. And she was interviewing another fellow Nurtured Heart advanced trainer, Sarah Baila Teleshevsky. And Sarah is my age because she said when she was born, and she has 9 children, would you believe? She's also a teacher, and she has given birth to 9 children. And she talked about this analogy between Ferraris and Hondas, the cars. So if you think of a Ferrari and a Honda, like what's the main difference? So the Ferrari is fast and flashy and probably takes a lot of maintenance and is expensive and likes to really show off. And the Honda's just a good old reliable car that just gets on with the job, right? It's not out there and flashy. It's just a regular kind of car. So she used the analogy in saying that our children are like Ferraris or Hondas. And she also used the analogy of heart and head, which I really related to as well. So the Ferrari kids are more heart driven and the Honda kids are more head driven. And you might, even with that short description, go, yes, I've definitely got a heart-driven kid, or my kid is more head-driven. If you are a teacher or an educator of some sort, you'll know in your classroom that you have some heart-driven kids and you have some head-driven kids. So just think of that analogy of the Ferrari and the Honda. Now, as humans, and particularly kids, we seek a lot of things, but there are 2 things we really seek. The first one, I believe, is relationship, and the second one is approval. So Sarah shared that when kids are seeking this relationship and approval, that the heart kids will go above and beyond to get the relationship more than the head kids. The head kids will still want the relationship, but they will do more for the approval. The heart kids, the Ferrari kids, are not so fussed about approval. Yes, I guess they'd like the approval, but they're more driven to get that relationship. And they will do whatever it takes to get that relationship. They don't always think about the consequences. They'll be the kids who just act without thinking, and they just want that relationship. And sadly, many of us are giving that relationship in a really upside down way, which is once again why I'm so very passionate about Nurtured Heart Approach, because we teach how to give the relationship in the right way up. And these heart kids, these Ferrari kids from a very young age are seeking this relationship, and they learn way too soon that the best and easiest way for them to get that relationship is to muck up, because when they're doing the right thing, being quiet or compliant or cooperative or being a good kid or following the rules or being kind or thoughtful, whatever it is, respectful, that when they're doing the right thing, they don't get a heck of a lot of relationship. But then they figure out, I've got the formula. When I muck up, when I break a rule, when I do the wrong thing, when I annoy my brother, when I don't listen to mum and dad, when I attract attention in class, that's when I get the relationship. And they don't care as much about the approval. They just want that relationship. And unfortunately, just because we don't know any different, unless we know about Nurtured Heart, we give them more of that relationship when they are mucking up, when they're doing the wrong thing. And so that becomes their operating system, right? That's how their Ferrari drives. It drives on getting all of that relationship and connection and attention when they muck up. And the bigger the muck up, the more attention they get, the more relationship they get, right? So nothing weird going on there. So yeah, and the head kids are more the kids in your home or in your classroom who seem like the more compliant and cooperative kids. They think more from the head. They're like, okay, if I do this, I will get, you know, this approval, or if I follow this rule or do the right thing, I will get approval. Yes, they still want relationship, right? But they will do more for approval than the Ferrari kids who will do everything for relationship. So how do we cater to both the Ferrari and the Honda kids? We cater to both of them equally by giving them relationship and approval when it's deserved, when they're doing the right thing, when they're following the rules, when they're being compliant, cooperative, kind, thoughtful, respectful. That's when we have to come in with all the juicy relationship and all of the approval that's needed to show them that we see them doing the things that they're doing that are positive. And we need to show that in a really, you know, juicy kind of way, not just a junk food, well done, good job way, but to actually say, I see you. And this is what that shows about me. This really shows me you're looking at me at the moment. I know you're angry, but you're looking at me and you're not yelling back at me. And that really shows me that you're being respectful. So thank you for being respectful in this moment. Whereas normally that kid, that Ferrari kid who was heated in the moment, who was being disrespectful, won't be given that recognition for moving towards being respectful. Usually they'll just be getting in more trouble for being disrespectful, right? But if we can take the time to just find that glimmer, to find that miracle from a molecule of when they are maybe being respectful, even if they just stop for a moment and they stop yelling at you, or they stop being rude to you and they're looking at you in the eyes, in that moment they're being respectful. So that's how we build that relationship and that approval for the heart Ferrari kids. Now the Honda head kids, they need that relationship just as much as the Ferrari heart kids, right? But they will often appear to be okay without it. They will still, in most instances, sometimes they won't, but they'll still follow the rules in most instances. They'll do the right thing. They'll be the kids when you go to see their teachers on report days, that parent-teacher interview days, that they'll be the kids, yes, Johnny is well behaved, listens in class, does the right thing. But those kids may grow up being resentful of that, being resentful of not having that and feeling that connected relationship. And they might be the kids who grow up with a low self-esteem, with depression, and not feeling good about themselves because they never really stood up for themselves and they just were compliant the whole time. So the moral of this story is, regardless of whether you've got heart Ferrari kids or head Honda kids, we need to give them that relationship, that connection, that approval, that sense of, I am your biggest supporter and fan. I see you, and here's why I see you. I see you being respectful. I see you being cooperative. I see you following the rules. I see you being kind to your brother or sister. Give them that relationship when they deserve it, as opposed to giving them more of you when they're mucking up and doing the wrong thing. And then you will find your heart Ferrari kids will be they're still going to be a heart Ferrari kid, right? They're still going to be that flashy car, but they will be getting more of what they need. They will be getting more of that relationship from you, and they won't feel like they need to go out and seek it in a negative way. And of course, the head Honda kids, they need it as well. They need that connected relationship as well. You might think that they don't need it, but they really do. And sometimes, as I've seen in many instances, they can be the kids who grow up to be the adults who are the ones who suffer with mental health issues. So please do be mindful of, you know, giving that relationship equally to both. So I hope you enjoyed that today. Take 2. It probably was very different to my first one, but at least we have sound on this one. So I'll go back and delete the first one. Thank you for listening in. Let me know, are you a Honda or a Ferrari? are your children Hondas or Ferraris? And thank you, Sarah, for sharing that story. And goodness knows how you survived being a mother of nine Ferraris. And it wasn't until later that she learned about the nurtured heart approach. So a lot of credit to you, Sarah, for that. And thank you for sharing, Mussi, on your Voices of Parenting podcast. That's it from me today. Lillian Reiki, parenting strategist from Parent Support Network, equipping parents and all caregivers of children to enjoy happy and healthy children and relationships on purpose. Bye for now.